Hello, thank you for joining me in a new video. Today, I have the Galaxy Z Flip7 with me, and I'm going to share what I like the most and the least about this device after having tested it, just in case you're thinking about buying it. So, as always, let me advise you not to purchase the Galaxy Z Flip7 without first watching this video. Let's take into account its launch price, which in Mexico has been set at 25,499 pesos. I believe we're all aware that this price will decrease over time, making it increasingly appealing. If you're interested in this device, I would suggest looking for the previous generation, which will likely be available at a significantly lower price. However, it's clear that this device also includes some noteworthy improvements, so let's go ahead and discuss all of these. Let's begin with what I like best. The design is slimmer, making it more pocket-friendly. The crease is less pronounced though, still visible but subtly so. In real life, you'll forget the device is there. It also has an IP48 rating, so it's resistant to water and small particles, though not quite as tiny as dust. However, I believe they provide a decent level of durability to this device overall. Also, the screens are bigger than the previous generation. Notice the wide external display with extremely thin bezels. It's likely the thinnest bezel screen available now. The internal display has thin bezels too, though not as thin, but it's a wide screen of very good quality. The sound is something that Samsung has not neglected, so it has good speakers, and above all, very well complemented at the software level, as it has functions to raise the volume of content that have in very low sounds. Equalizer. And when you think about independent application sound, it actually encompasses a lot of different things. It also features 5 microphones, which, believe me, provide an excellent experience for recording content. Taking selfies with this device is definitely a great experience, as you can fully leverage the quality of the main camera, which will be truly outstanding. Moreover, the super stable mode functions exceptionally well. When recording video, you can use this mode for traditional videos or in selfie format, utilizing the cell phone in this manner. The experience is truly going to be positive. Plus, we have a great upgrade policy with a 7-year promise, ensuring the device won't become obsolete. When the Z Flip 8 is released, it will be an even more appealing choice due to continued updates. It includes all the Galaxy tools like editing, photography, generation and more, which are really beneficial. The battery is 4300 mAh and is an evolution from the previous generation to talk about a flip where the battery is usually always an issue against. In this case, I think the battery is already pretty decent, without becoming an ultra spectacular battery, but I think it stands up for itself. It also integrates Samsung DeX to be able to use an external monitor and open applications in a windowed format. Using a wireless mouse and keyboard can boost your productivity significantly. Moreover, the Galaxy ecosystem remains a major advantage, including the Ring, watch, tablet, and numerous other devices, all of which seamlessly integrate and function together beautifully. However, let me share what aspects I didn't find appealing. To begin with, it lacks all the high-resolution audio codecs. For instance, Bluetooth doesn't support aptX or LHDC. Therefore, when purchasing a wireless headset, if you desire high-resolution audio, it's crucial to ensure that it supports either the LDAC codec or Samsung's proprietary SSC codec. Additionally, the front camera is merely 10 megapixels and features fixed focus, which makes it a particularly poor front camera. Though you can use the external system, a product at this price should have a better front camera. And even though it features an ultra-wide camera, the reality is that its quality isn't very high, so you can observe some chromatic aberration, particularly in backlit situations. During nighttime, the photos aren't great unless you switch to the night mode. This is a point I've criticized in several Samsung products recently, since other brands, even within the mid-range, manage to process night photos better without the need for you to manually turn on the night mode. So here, it is important that at night you're going to activate this option so that the photographs come out more competitive. The medium and long range zoom, the truth is that it is bad, you're only going to have a short range zoom. So if your priority is to take pictures at long distances, this device is going to disappoint you quite a bit. The video recording at night has not seemed to me the most attractive of life either, but well, let's always consider that a foldable sacrifices a lot of space. So here we will not find very large camera sensors or anything like that. Style. Interestingly, this device, although it can indeed record video in portrait format blurring the background, cannot do it in 4K, something that the Galaxy S25, for example, which might be even cheaper than this option does. In fact, the dual recording mode that shows both the rear camera and the front camera cannot be in 4K either, unlike the Galaxy S25 that does allow us that quality and in this case could still improve because it does not allow us to zoom and other little things. The side fingerprint reader permits only 4 fingerprint registrations, whereas the industry standard typically allows for 5. It seems Samsung may prioritize accuracy over quantity, yet I would prefer having the option for all 5 registrations. Additionally, the box does not include a charger, which is quite frustrating. The device supports 25 watts charging, which is relatively slow and not particularly impressive. And even though it does support wireless charging, it lacks built-in magnets, so if you want to use magnetic charging, you'll need to get a special case. The Exynos 2500 processor isn't necessarily bad, but if you're looking to use it for gaming, you might end up having a bad experience. This processor isn't optimized well for gaming, which means you will likely notice instability when playing heavy games. Additionally, it tends to heat up quite a bit with a lot of this content, especially if you prefer very high quality settings. If you bought it, share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me about your experience, whether you miss a telephoto camera for zoom or don't use it. Also, do you use the external screen or always open the phone? Let me know your experience. We've reached the end of this video. If you liked it, let me know. See you next time.